Okay, am I live?
It's just starting. I'm in a commercial.
Can everyone hear me?
Yep, you're good.
Okay. Let me adjust some things here. Wrong one.
Yeah, we're
Okay.
having a delay. Again.
How long a delay are we having?
Animal says it's 15 seconds.
So it's more than yesterday.
Yeah.
Okay. Hello and welcome everybody to my Halloween special for Hello Bill Potter for this live stream. I believe this is the 4th or 5th time, and today I did want to say, everyone's been wondering, but my special guest today is also a moderator on the channel, which is my wife Helena Miller, if you want to say hello.
Hi, guys.
So she'll be here if you have any questions for her as well. I have a couple things planned, but nothing real big. It's going to be pretty much the same, where it's, if you have any questions for me. I do plan on having a couple giveaways for today. Animal, you're awesome. It's Helena. That's fine. Oh, she was there for the brownie story. It was one of those things that she, one of the few times that, well, probably not one of the few times, but one of the times she actually thought I was crazy.
He was arguing with me and Brownie got upset.
Right off the bat, you have a question.
What is life like with Ben? I would say entertaining.
No, the Yetis, I don't have any more of them. I actually don't know where the one I had went, but I actually went and bought a couple things for the giveaway, and I think you'll enjoy them. So I have 3 things to give away, and I'll do them intermittently in this live stream. I'm not sure when. The Woman in White. I actually had a story that happened last night because of the Woman in White. I was going upstairs to go to bed, and I happened to turn around because I just had this feeling behind me, and I could have sworn I saw someone at the bottom of the steps peek their head around while I was going up the steps at night. I did want to say that yesterday I did a little bit of a test stream, and I had quite a few people actually show up to that. And Animal, you were quite helpful. So do you think we want to kick this off by doing a giveaway right off the bat, see what happens?
Yeah, let's try it.
Alright, we're going to start a giveaway right off the bat. We're going to start this correct. I don't know if I should with 38 viewers, but why not? We'll do the simple thing first. What one do you think I should go for out of the 3? What one do you think I should go out of the 3? Okay, the first item that I am going to be doing a giveaway for, let's see if this works. I'm waiting for to see it to pop up here. Oh, that's the other thing I wanted to mention. Atlee or God. This also is the 30,000 subscriber mark for a video, so that's what this is all about. And in order for Samurai of the Ice, how does the giveaway work? It's just chosen out of the comments that are here, the people that are here basically. And once it's said and done, I set up a different email, which is actually on my YouTube channel now, for this kind of thing. And you can contact me and I'll get your information and I'll send it out to you. So without further ado, we will start this giveaway. And start it now. Country by Fire. Well, it looks like you just got in and you just got it. Congratulations, Country by Fire.
Just to let you know, I wanted to keep that.
So yes, again, thank you for everything you have done. And Country by Fire, you won the mug. And like I said, it looks like you just jumped in. So contact me at the end of the stream, and I will get that sent out to you. So let me go back to my normal screens here. I'll go to a different one. I'll go to this one. I gotta remove this one. OBS, the program I'm using, is a little different, so. And we'll wait for that to switch over. There we go. Now we're a little more festive. I did want to say before I actually started moving forward with this, happy Halloween to everyone, and thank you for showing up on a day that I'm sure many of you have work on Monday, and this is going to make it tough. Okay, I see the question from Matthew Harrison is my thoughts on living dinosaurs. Sorry, I was reading something else. I shouldn't do that. Yeah, I believe dinosaurs actually, some of them do exist in different areas. Like I believe in Africa there's a brontosaurus, wasn't there?
Yes.
That all the natives in the area all describe what a brontosaurus looks like as this thing. But yet they still say, oh, it has to be something normal. So I do definitely believe that. And you have like the ropin, which is, I know pterodactyls aren't considered dinosaurs, but I still do. There's plenty of pterodactyl looking cryptids that are out there. What happened to Victor?
Huh?
Okay. What happened with your Wendigo, Victor? And Rescue on Serpentine, yes. The Moleke Menembe is definitely the one I was talking about. One. Don't mind my extra noises. Chewy gets up and down off my lap all the time, and it's not very easy on me. Okay.
I love Monster Quest, Altair God. I absolutely love that show. I watch it all the time.
You want to know something that's kind of interesting about that, though? One of the thoughts. I just read James Kasusnik's question. One of my original ideas for one of the items for a giveaway. I hate to say this because I know many of you will be like me and say, well, why didn't he do it anyway? It was a book written by Josh Gates about the backstory of all the Destination Truths he was been on. And it was written by him because even they say that it's written in his
That would be cool.
language. Not language, but how he talks.
Okay, cryptozoologist investigator. What are your thoughts on the stellar sea ape?
I have no idea what that even is. Thunderbird encounters? No, I do not. The Mapping Glory.
I was just going to ask you that, and I can't pronounce it. So.
I know the name. Can you remind me what actually it is? Because I know the name. And jump on another question there, Stephen on the water. Yes, I've looked at Bob Gimlin's videos. I would like to. Some of them I have watched, but it seems like he's more focused on Bigfoot. From what I could tell, I could be wrong, but how? Hello, Funds Jag, and around here we actually say yuns, not yins, but I know it might be different in different areas. It's supposed to look like a... I don't necessarily think that the Thunderbird is a Mothman, because from what I understand, there are differences, and namely, the Mothman doesn't ever really attack anybody, from what I understand. Yeah, the original sighting said that it was going after a car, but I don't really think that was the case. Where was the one about... What follow-up would you be looking for the lake in China?
Moths are attracted to light.
And what's
With
that?
the Mothman.
I'd say there's more differences than that. Let's see. What people would you like to see a crossbow? A lot of people would like you. Jumping back to Rescue on Serpentine's discussion about Bob Gimlin. Originally, I have to claim ignorance on that one, because I had a lot of people ask me about him before, and I looked up a couple of his videos, and I know he has a PhD in primatology and everything, and I have no issues with him. But originally, by seeing the name Bob Gimlin, I thought he was the one that was part of the Patty footage, and the Patterson Gimlin footage, I guess, put it correctly. But I see it spelled differently, and he is a different person. And I wouldn't mind teaming up with him, but like I said in comments, I feel it would suit better to be an interview situation than anything else. Did you have a question?
Okay, Victor, sorry if I mispronounce this, Beyond Chine asks, are you continuing your state crypto videos?
100% yes. In fact, I normally don't do this, but the next week, or should I say next Sunday's/Monday's video will be the next Cryptid by State. And if anyone's curious, I don't even know what one that is going to be just yet, because I still have to do the vote tally. I started the one day and I got so confused, and hence why I needed some help. Can't pronounce it either. Victor Beyond Scene?
Have you watched videos by Crash Course Cryptozoology?
No, I have not. And it's a good point that you actually brought that up. Hello, Regina.
Hi, Regina.
It's a good thing that you brought that up, because I've mentioned this in a few videos, and this happened with my Bell Witch video that I did, where everyone was saying, hey, Bedtime Stories just posted a video on this yesterday, or this other channel posted the same topic a day before that. And Helena here can attest to the fact that more often than not, when I'm not doing anything on cryptids or my video, I'm not watching anything paranormal or cryptid related. It's normally either video games or building computers or something random. I've been watching some guy build a house that was $9,000 for the past few weeks. So,
okay, what about the Ohio Grassman?
What about him? It's a Bigfoot. Eventually, I should do a... I just don't want to get in that topic again. I should do a video on the different Bigfoots there are, but I don't really want to go into that topic again.
But that's the funny thing. When you first started this channel, you told me, I'm not doing Nessie and I'm not doing Bigfoot.
Yeah, I still have yet to do Nessie. Yes, I watched Monster Quest, and I actually kind of enjoyed it, even though I think it's a little bit fake that they don't even try. And Stephen on the Water, yes, I've seen so many references to the Bell Witch being the Geth, the talking mongoose. I have looked it up a while ago, and I have it on my list of topic ideas that I would like to touch on every once in a while. But I have yet to make a video about it. But it definitely seems different. Florida swamp ape, the undernourished Bigfoot. Oddly enough, with the Florida swamp ape, I that's one of the few that everyone seems to forget that there's a pretty interesting photo of it. So,
Oh, Chewy is awake.
Chewy's awake.
Chewy.
Yes, I've heard of the Bear Lake Monster in Idaho. It probably would be one of those things, well, not probably. I guarantee it'll be one of the ones on my, everyone's saying hi to Chewy. Oh, he has a big ego. Don't get him started. It's 9:17 here. I'm sorry to cut off what I was saying, but it's 9:17 here, and there is no one knocking on our door, but they're both sitting in the window looking. So, Animal says, "Get him, Chewy."
He got his butt smacked.
Is Chewy alive? Yes, he's alive. He was on my lap just a few minutes ago. Well, we have a lot of Victors in chat today. Victor Volkov. I've been wanting to actually do a video on cryptids or UFO sightings that were encountered during the war. And if it's the one you're talking about that I'm thinking, isn't that the U-22 monster? Or U-22B? I don't know. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought Victor was asking if Chewy's alive and asking if he's awake. Okay. I'm trying to really get this pronunciation correct, but A for Formiga Vermela, I guess. I did a video on the history of the Yautja and Predator, that series, and I actually did plan on making a video about more of them, and I was planning on doing the aliens part of it, but they have a bigger history than I actually wanted to go into. But I'm always open to something like that. The video games part, I do have a love of video games, but it just doesn't fit with my channel. Even when I branched out and tried to do like a creepypasta reading on a, I think I got it from Reddit. That video didn't really do so well. I know a lot of yous love it, and I appreciate all the love yous give me, but it really wasn't successful enough for me to continue something like that.
Okay, TLC Ferguson.
Okay.
Do you have many personal experiences with cryptids and paranormal?
Interesting question, TLC Ferguson. I actually have more paranormal encounters than I do cryptid encounters. I always forget one, but I have the one I saw in the woods. I have the brownie, and I think I saw a Bigfoot once. I think. So I don't even really count that one. But as far as like UFOs, we've both seen them. And my brother, who's actually a skeptic, he still talks about the one that we saw. And as far as ghosts, that's a daily basis for us. It's to the point we don't even realize it. Portuguese. I know you're not talking about me. Matthew Harrison, like I mentioned, because I have viewers from all over, and I don't know where all of you are at right now, but I have viewers from all over. And when I started my Cryptid by State videos, I realized that I didn't want to be one of those YouTubers that live in the United States and only focus on the United States. So I'm planning on doing a sister series where I do look at other countries.
Victor wants to know, a brownie and Bigfoot? Is that a pants thing?
No, it is not. It is not. Sadly, it is not. So, I see we're at almost the halfway mark for this. I probably should do another giveaway then. Alrighty.
Turkey.
So, I will try to find it. This one will be this one. And let me drop that one. Transition.
Rich Kale, do not mistake a brownie and a fairy. I'm telling you that right now because it can get you into trouble. Because that's exactly what my husband did. And he got beat with a bottle of barbecue sauce because of it. And it wasn't me doing it.
That's the truth. I don't know why. I'm just going to say this. Normally, we're not supposed to say this kind of things, but for some reason, BB7738 is asking me to approve your comment, and I don't know why. Helena took care of it. But yes, the chupacabra was actually what I'm not really sure what it was. I was originally told it was a chupacabra, but I'm more on the lines of thinking it was some different type of entity. But with that said, I see it popped up on screen. I have a code, and I guess this works. I know I just went into a long spill about video games isn't on this channel, but I have a code for Amnesia: A Machine for Pigs, which is a horror-based game. It's perfect for Halloween. I've been meaning to give it away. And it's for PC on Steam, and I guess I will start that giveaway. And just as I said, if someone wins that doesn't have Steam or have any use for this, I'm not going to tell you to give it away, but if you don't want it, just let me know, because this is a little bit more particular. Anyone can use a mug, but Sean Deshain?
Yay!
Congratulations, you won the Steam key on the PC for Amnesia: Machine for Pigs. As I stated, contact me after the stream, and I will get that out to you. Did you take down that name just in case?
No, I did not. I will.
And I need to transition back to something that's a little bit more towards the stream. Nope, wrong one. This one off. There we go. Transition. We're good to go. And just so everyone knows, with just hearing that little bit, yesterday, Helena had mentioned to me how I seem to mumble a lot while I'm on the computer. Well, anytime I'm looking at doing something like you just heard when I was doing transitions and scenes, yes, I start talking to myself. But yes, as Sean, as Samurai said, congratulations, Sean. Oh, that's really nice. Victor, no, I'm happy that my videos have helped you out and been working as almost a form of therapy. But it's always I that thank Yuns for viewing my content. If it wasn't for any of Yuns, I wouldn't be where I'm at. I wouldn't be live streaming right now. But I am very appreciative of it, and I'm sorry to hear that you're in such a trouble. Okay, Yoko Kurama 62. Japan has a lot of cryptids. Yes, they do. But the only problem I have, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, YouTube. Japan seems to have a lot of the same type of cryptid. Well, they're different, but the cryptids are, dare I say, they're always like a woman in white. They always look different, but they're always basically within that. And what cryptid do you want as a pet?
Yeah.
That is plain and simple. Who would I want as a pet?
Cthulhu.
No.
I don't know.
Mothman.
You have so many.
Mothman.
For me, I want a dragon. Sorry.
I know I'm going to get this wrong, and I'm going to assume that you know the proper way to pronounce this. This is to Miguel. I worked with a guy. I don't see him in the chat, and I'm a little disappointed, so when he listens to this, he'll know. Who was Cuban, and he actually told me how to pronounce that name, La Lorna. That is what we always say, La Lorna. But how he said it was so much more eloquent. So I'm sorry for that. I actually wanted to watch the movie, and I have yet to watch it. And I haven't seen anything about the DNA with Hispanics having it. But it is quite fantastic, because I've seen videos where you could hear the woman screaming in the streets, and there was cops involved, but there was no one around. It's really it's a really interesting story. Ray Soliday has something for you. You didn't see?
I missed it.
Under Georgina Lindsay. He said Khaleesi.
Khaleesi? Actually, I almost kind of did her last year. Because, of course, in this household, we dress up for Halloween to do the trick-or-treaters. And I did have a dragon on my shoulder last Halloween.
Normally I don't dress up for Halloween, but I finally am this year.
I got him too.
Brock says he thought you wanted a hellhound.
Yeah, last year it was a hellhound, but I thought about it more, and honestly, he has aliens and all kinds of cryptids on his desk, but our house is completely filled with dragons from me, so...
I have listened to Expanded Perspectives. I don't really recall what my opinion would be on them. Because like I said, James, in a previous one, and I think I've replied to a comment to you. Excuse me. I really don't watch too many paranormal things on YouTube. And I know Yuns know exactly why. A lot of times with my content, and I think this is why Yuns like it so much, is I look for the truth in things, and so many channels, and I'm not saying Expanded Perspectives is like this, but so many channels glorify these topics, and it doesn't need to be. There's a certain channel, which I'm not going to mention because I don't want to start any beefs with anybody, but the guy has a very annoying voice to me. He had a video where he showed pictures of this one image that someone said they found in the house, which was a well in the basement, and he right away jumped to saying that they obviously were keeping people in slavery in that well, and it's like, no, I'm a plumber, that's a well.
Okay, here's a good one. Victor is asking, have you noticed a correlation between cryptids and societies that practice black magic?
That's a dangerous topic. Because there's a lot of people, and there's nothing wrong with this, there's a lot of people, and I'm hoping you heard what she said, if there's a correlation between cryptos and societies that practice black magic. There's a lot of people that like to get on the bandwagon, and I'm not saying they're wrong. Everyone's free to how they believe. We don't believe that way. But there's a lot of people that believe that ghosts, spirits, cryptids, that they're all demons. And so it's tough for me to answer that because that kind of would be touching into that aspect. I will say, if you want to go cryptids, which I don't believe they are, like zombies, they're prominent in hoodoo and voodoo and what have you. But, for example, the Mothman, that's in West Virginia where everyone's seeing them. Or they claimed, and you all know my feelings on this, they claimed to see him in Russia. They've seen him in Chicago. So, would I say black magic would be a good form of magic or a bad form of magic?
It depends on the user.
I think she'd be best to answer that one because I do have my personal views on that, and I stay out of that. But if I had to say, I would say black. Normally, black is the bad side.
Yes, it is.
Yes, Ray. I believe the same thing, that there are a difference between demons and cryptids. But some people, and it's just because a lot of people, and I'm not putting anyone down at all. And you just know me. I'm not like that. I'm not that kind of person. But if it's not written in a book somewhere, and I'm not saying what book, and we all know what I'm meaning, if it's not written in a certain book, then it's automatically demonic. It seems.
Samurai of These, I think it is.
Of the Ice.
The Ice. You did a video on the Bell Witch. Would you ever do a video on Amity Horror?
That's a tough one. Because the Amityville Horror, while there are those interesting pictures of that kid, and I have yet to see if there is anyone debunked that one, but the story goes back and forth so much on that as to if it was legitimate or if it wasn't. You know, some say the guy was possessed by evil spirits and did this, and others say it was all a lie. So it's tough for me to make a video because I do like to make a video that has a little bit of mystery to it, and that seems kind of open and shut. And like Victor says, a lot of people do cover Amityville. So oh, I didn't know that, James. Like I said, I do have a religion of my own, but I keep that to myself. And if anyone would ask me, I wouldn't even say, because it doesn't play a part here. But I have no problems with anybody's views, because none of us know who's right.
Okay, Nick Gross says, I'm part Cherokee and was wondering if you know anything on the Cherokee Devil or the Slanted-Eyed Giant.
The names are familiar to me. But you know something that is interesting is that I've been seeing a lot of questions that relate to things with Mountain Monsters, the show. And that's one thing that I guess kind of jumps way back to someone asked me about covering something on TV shows. A lot of people have been asking me about the little Cherokee girl and like a long finger guy or whatever it is. I forget what it is without checking my notes. And I do want to cover it, but only because the whole thing has been made up. And I know there's probably a question about a video on Bob Mackey's Music Bar. It kind of goes again with the Amityville, and I agree with what Victor had said. A lot of people talk about it, and I try to keep topics as fresh as possible. Was there anything that I missed?
No. The Crunchy
Sopa.
Sopa. Thoughts on the Loveland Frog?
And I want to say something real quick. And this shows that I actually pay attention to my subscribers and commenters. The Crunchy Sopa, I promised you a Thunderbird video a while back. I will be making it. I'm sorry I haven't got a chance to do it. I remembered. I didn't forget.
He has a list about a mile long saved on his computer. So.
But the Loveland Frog, I actually did a video about the Loveland Frog, and it might be returning again in the video I do on the Cryptid by State for Ohio. Alright, so the Kazai Rex. Isn't that the one that's in I'm trying to remember, because there's two. This is where I always get messed up. There's one in Canada, supposedly, or Alaska. James, you could help me with that one. There's one that was supposedly in, like a T-Rex, that was supposed to be in Alaska or Canada. And the other one was in Australia. The one was more fantastic than the other one, but it seems like the T-Rex, it was a T-Rex that was small. We're both laughing because you forgot the Pokemon Go sightings in the video. That program, no offense to anyone that does like Pokemon or Pokemon Go. That program's not on my phones or tablets or nothing. So,
Matthew Harrison asks, have you heard of the show Lost Tapes?
I absolutely have heard of the show Lost Tapes. I absolutely love that show, or loved it, because it's off the air now. And I cannot find where to watch the videos again. And oddly enough, the one that was one of my favorites wasn't the Jersey Devil. It was of, I believe, Ogopogo, like everyone says, or Nessie, where it was basically a plesiosaur under this woman's boat, and it was very creepy. But it doesn't hurt that I also have a fear of the water with sharks, so. I haven't seen any that, well then, Brock, I'll definitely be checking your channel, because I've been trying to find them everywhere. I'm sorry, for some reason it blocked that one. I don't know why. Yes, Matthew. It might have been the Monterey Bay one. I don't remember which one it was. But I see a lot of you have seen that episode, and it was really creepy. Oh man. Sean DeShane grew up where Jaws was made.
I'd be moving.
No way would I get in that water. I wouldn't get in the water to begin with. Now, see, on my page right now, it's showing a big black spot below Rich Kale, so I'm not seeing anything else. So you're going to have to help me out on this one, because I'm missing that one.
Good.
If I don't respond to anyone outside of what she says, I'm missing something. The Monterey Bay one, Matthew. Was he wasn't the last comment, was he? Yeah, I have an issue with there we go. See, that's the thing I do find funny, is about the lake monsters thing. And I think I did a video where I basically touched on like a Nessie kind of thing, but it was, I even posted the Oprah gif where she says, you in a car, you in a car, you in a car, but it was, you have a Nessie, you have a Nessie, you have a Nessie. Because it seems like everywhere in the United States, if there's a lake, there's a sea monster in it.
Okay, the Crunchy
Sopa.
Have you done a vid on cryptids of Mexico already, or nah, you haven't?
I guess in that answer, I'll say, nah, I haven't. I'm actually planning on doing it when I will do my Cryptid by Country one. And why am I losing chat real quick?
I don't know. Hit that down button. Yeah, something's messing up on yours.
As long as it's working good for everyone else, I really don't care. Good thing I have a co-host on this one. Nessie's a giant eel. I don't... I'll get to that one, but I do want to mention Brock's question there. And I didn't inform my wife this beforehand, but Brock is cryptozoologist investigator. That's who that is. When you hear me say Brock, that's who he is.
Okay.
I don't like to believe that Nessie's a eel either. I like, it's one of those cryptids that I always say I want to believe in. So I don't like the whole eel thing. I do think a lot of sea monsters or lake monsters are giant eels, though.
Yeah.
So what were you laughing about?
Nothing.
You're good. Oh, Samurai of the Ice asked me a real tough question. Wants to know, since I'm not doing
Warren case.
Since Amityville is out, Samurai of the Ice wants to know since Amityville is probably out. I'm not going to say it's out, but wants to know if I'd make a video about Ed and Lorraine. And I tend not to try to talk ill of the dead, so how about we leave it at that? Is that a good enough answer for that one? Orange, get off my channel. What?
Okay.
I see that one.
What cryptids you don't want to be real?
Actually, there's not a single one that I wouldn't want to be real. I guess the only one that well, it's a strange thing. Because I have a terrible fear of sharks, so a lot of people would think my first thing would be, and it's not really even a cryptid, but it would be Megalodon. But it's not. I actually would like it to be real. I have that strange thing with that. But I would say, and this is going to come as a little bit of a oddity, but I would say if I was to not want a cryptid to be real, and I'm fairly certain, 99% sure it already isn't, and I very rarely say that, but it would be the Snallygaster. It was a Germanic lore about it. Yes, but I mean the Megalodon that people are claiming is now. Hellhounds don't even really bother me. I went to the Chris Griffin. I actually went to the beach while I was in college, and I refused to even go 10 feet within the water.
I had a hard time getting him into our swimming pool because of his fear of sharks.
At night.
Yes, at night.
Not during the day. No, the Snally boy. I'm sorry, I do like the Snallygaster too, but it's just it's strange. Oh, let's see. Okay, I have to answer this question. A lot of people like to ask me video game questions. If I was a Witcher, from the games, what cryptid would I not hunt? And here's the sad thing, James. I bought The Witcher 3 the day it came out. I bought all the DLC for it. I loved playing it for an hour, and I haven't played it since. And it's not because I didn't like it. I just haven't had a chance to. So I know they're not in there, but I wouldn't hunt the Mothman, the Jersey Devil, and probably not the Griffin. I know the Griffin was in there, I think. Atelier God, you can keep it.
Nick Gross asks, which cryptid scares you the most?
It scares me.
Scares you.
That's a tough question, because I don't really think of any that really scare me to think about them. But to be honest with you, I would be terrified of pretty much all of them if I saw them.
Okay, Alex Parker asks, does a griffin count as a cryptid?
That goes into a topic that someone asked me to do a video about, was what's the difference between folklore, myth, and cryptids. And it's a very fine line, and I agree with you that I wouldn't count a griffin as a cryptid per se. But when I was given the question about The Witcher 3 and creatures in there, there's only two that I'm familiar with that are actually in it because, like I said, I only played it an hour. And the only ones I encountered was a griffin, and I've seen a vampire. So,
Okay, Victor Volkov asks, Ben, do you know the story of UB85 and UB65?
well, let me ask you this question. Is there a difference between the two? Because, like I said, without me looking it up, I couldn't remember what the number was. But as far as I knew, there was only one of them. It was either 85 or 65, like you mentioned. And I believe I mentioned that previously when we started this stream. But yes, I know the story of it. But if there is a second one... Oh, there is a second one. That's something I'll need to write down. In fact, once I find my notepad, I am writing it down right now. And get a pen. UB85. Pardon me, everyone. I wanted to get this down. Or, just to jump back on that, Victor, is that, I guess I should say it correctly, Victor, are they the same creature that someone saw, or was this something different? A lot of people say there was multiples of the same sighting. The only one I've ever seen, I think, was 85. And his crew claimed they were...
Altier, you need to knock it off right now.
Well, I won't be going anywhere outside then. How paranormal creatures defined versus cryptids. That's a tough one.
There is like a invisible line connecting them both that you kind of cross back and forth over time and time again.
Yeah, I mean, there really isn't a defining line, like she said, as to paranormal creatures versus cryptids. There's always... The lines always are cryptids, which are flesh and blood creatures, spirit beasts and beings, aliens, and that's this. You know, they all three have different ones. Okay, Victor, the one that you're talking about now is the one that I was talking about. The one where it basically looked like almost like an alligator in a way. Brock, I have no idea what that is. I'm not much of a... I'm assuming it's an RP or Twilight. And I don't watch the movies if it's not that. Yes, I have looked into the Skinwalker Ranch. And yes, I plan on making a video about it. But it's much like the same as... I see the question from James. Where was I at? Oh, Skinwalker Ranch.
Yes.
That's why I don't try to watch chat when I'm reading these.
Stop it.
I looked into Skinwalker Ranch, and it follows much along the lines as when I want to do my Missing 411 video, that there is so much involved that it's going to take me a lot of time to put together. And as of late, she can attest also, we don't really have a lot of time to put everything together. Let's talk about shadow people. Oh. To jump back, James wanted to know what the worst thing I've seen as a plumber. Actually, I was going to give a real snarky, not snarky answer, but an answer like normally it's the customers that we have to deal with. But actually, one of my scariest things happened while I was on a job working. To set this off correctly, me and my brother were working in, or should I say correctly, my brother and I were working in a old funeral home. And we went to a certain room and we saw brains and organs in jars still. And I was upstairs bleeding out a system in radiators. And they had like a servant's door entrance on the side, and it was set up with an alarm that chimed every time that door opened. Well, it was inside the building, so no wind could hit it. Well, while my brother was down in the basement working, and I was upstairs on the 3rd floor working, we heard that bell going off, and we both met up with each other and was trying to figure out who did it, and neither of us did. So, your name is Ben, and you were a plumber. What irony? What?
I like Animal's comment. He thinks it would be a cryptid.
It lied as I answered the question?
Evidently. And not for me, it didn't.
Oh, okay. So we are at 9:51, and I have been keeping you on a scary hand coming out of the graveyard for way too long. So let me go with my next giveaway, and this is not a code or anything. So let me get this all set up, and let me wait for this to pop up. We're just waiting for it to change screens. There we go. The next giveaway is for one of my t-shirts. I currently don't have one with me, but the reason behind that is because I don't know what size anyone would want. And so that's what it is. So starting now, I will be doing the giveaway for one of my Ice Wolf video t-shirts. And just so it's said, I took this picture right from where I get the merchandise, so yours will not have a black line around it. Helena has like 3 of them, and they look fine. So starting now, we got another giveaway to go. Look who won!
Animal!
Congratulations, Animal! You won a T-shirt for my channel. Like I said, I will give you my contact address. Actually, why don't you throw out my address for the people that won my newest one that I set up. Okay. Well, here I'll just say it out. For those that won tonight, my new email address, and you can contact me there regardless, but my new email address is benmillerchannel@gmail.com, capital B, capital M, capital C. Regina, what?
Yes, Regina. Today my granddaughter saw a UFO. She said it kept folding in on itself. She is 12, so she really didn't know how to describe it. Yes, she believes her.
Huh. That story, that's a very interesting story, Regina. See, the UFOs are a topic that Helena really likes, especially since one of her few encounters is actually the UFO.
Yeah, I am a UFO nut.
And that almost reminds me of that one that we saw that they've been posting the videos of, that one under sea that changed shape, the black thing that changed shape while it was under the sea. No, I shouldn't have a problem sending it to Australia, I wouldn't think.
No.
I've sent it plenty of places. Not unless there's something I didn't know.
What are you up to?
Yeah. Sent out a bunch of other things. But yes, congratulations, Animal, if I didn't say it. I will get it out to you regardless of where you live. So there shouldn't be any kind of issue. If at the very least you just tell me your size, and I'll just have them send it to you rather than to me. Or, I guess I could even just kind of do like a gift card thing where I know the price of it, give it to you in that way. We'll get it figured out. So don't worry about that. And I need to pull that shirt down off of the screen and bring it back to this one. And it'll eventually pop back up. But what do we have for questions? Alright, we'll see you later, Regina. Some things take precedence. Especially bye-bye. Or should I say later? I do have to say, how many people here had an issue with me removing later from my ending of my videos. I'm just curious. UB28. Okay. I just put my pen back. UB28. Just so it said. For Alex, I didn't remove it. I did there for a little bit, but I decided it's as much a part of the channel as I am. So, and Chewy is. So it's here to stay. And Charizard came late.
Samurai of the Ice isn't Florida a UFO hotspot. I actually would say the entire world's a hotspot right now. There are so many sightings of different things all the time. The problem is it's just not being shown on the news.
Unless it's fake.
Yeah, unless it is fake.
I find that it's odd that they have the only time you excuse me, the only time you ever, I have been talking a while, but the only time you ever see anything on the news that's related to cryptids or paranormal or UFOs, there's the 3 lines that someone was asked about later. It's always fake, or even the announcers when they're talking about it, they're
laughing about it.
Laughing and joking, and you know.
We have caught a few on certain big name networks, but it seems like as soon as we view it, if we take it off of our screens, it's gone right after.
We had that happen with something with NASA.
Yeah, even NASA's, some things they've spotted something or something like that, but as soon as we've caught on to it, it's gone before we can even get a clip of it.
As they say, never a straight story. No. Never a straight answer. That's what NASA stands for. Who asked? Oh, the Flatwoods Monster. It's okay. Chef Mookie, just so you know, she's not familiar with the Flatwoods Monster by name per se, but it's the one that was, seen that it looked like an alien in like a metallic body. It had like a skirt and everything, and it was floating over the ground, and they said it shot out like a gas kind of thing.
Oh, I'm not sure if I believe that or not.
You don't believe it?
No.
Okay. Hey, Miss Blue Moon Cat says her brother's name is Ben. Great name. I don't believe that was an owl. I honestly don't really have an opinion as to what I think it could and cannot be. But I will say this, and no disrespect to anyone that has any sightings as a child or what have you, but when all of the sightings are from children and that's it, I question it.
Okay, Animal is asking if anyone has a video of something suspicious, can they send them to you?
Absolutely. In fact, here, let me do something here, if mine works. I think I got the arrow cracked. There we go. Well, other than the orange mark, that's my YouTube channel. So, not my YouTube channel. Sorry, that's my official email now for YouTube. I used to have it as my own email, but I thought it'd make it easier to have a email set up specifically so that when you just got a hold of me, it wasn't throwing it in junk or what have you. Because I've had plenty of conversations with people where they sent me stuff, but it sent it into a junk file, and I didn't even realize it. And I get so much spam things about winning millions of dollars from Arabian princes. I can't go through all my junk.
Sean DeShane again. What are your thoughts on the Barney and Betty Hill UFO story?
Thank you, Rich Kale. I will see you later. Barney and Betty Hill. I believe, without a shadow of a doubt, that they were actually telling the truth. I know some people might come down on me about saying that, but here's something that no one ever factors into this story. And I don't like to talk about this kind of thing because I'm accepting of everybody. But at that time, when this occurred, they are and were an interracial couple. And not that there's an issue with that, but at that time, there probably would have been more of a scrutiny about it, and still today to a degree. And so coming forward and putting yourself in the spotlight as that seems like it would be a big target to paint for something you're just faking. So I believe 100% that something happened to him. Chris Griffin asked about the missing 411. As I mentioned before, I have looked into it a little bit, and I plan on doing a video on it, but I have to devote a lot of time to getting everything together. It won't be something it would take just a week to do. I want to make sure I get it out there properly. So, much like a while back I did a video on the Illuminati, and I said I would make a second one on the Rothschilds. And I have yet to do that because the Illuminati literally caused me a headache because there was so much information. So,
what's your opinion on the Dover Demon?
The Dover Demon will be covered in the video when I make it about the state-by-state cryptid. I'm thinking it's going to be, well, I've been saying this, it's going to be Pennsylvania or Florida, but strangely enough, when I was going over the tally, Michigan is coming in pretty hot. Charizard, I actually saw, I don't know if this is a thing or not, but if it's real, I should say. But I remember Sci-Fi Channel did a series, I believe it was, or History Channel did a series on animals fighting each other. And it was all computer generated. And they said that a crocodile would actually beat a great white shark because it could get a hold of it and death roll it, which would be bad for a shark. But even though I'm terrified of great white sharks or any sharks in general, I still would root for the great white shark.
Regina.
Wait, good night, Carla.
Oh, good night. Regina Riddle. As Ben has previously stated, I did have a UFO encounter, and we were driving him to work in the morning so I could have the car for the day, and I was in the passenger side, and looking out the side window, I saw a radio tower, and it was blinking. Well, there was another red light right beside it, blinking on and off with the radio tower. So I mentioned to him, it was weird, and I kept watching it, and as we were driving, it started moving and getting closer, and at one point it was over top of our car, and I am upside down on the dashboard of the car watching this thing, and it was the normal triangle shaped UFO, and it was maybe, I don't know, it was right on top of the trees, and it made no sound. But after that, I have been a constant believer.
And the part of the story that she didn't actually mention was that, as a pipe fitter, I'm a plumber, I'm a plumber, but I'm actually a pipe fitter by trade, which means I work in powerhouses and stuff like that. I was actually working. I'll actually give the location. I was working at Keystone Powerhouse, and we were literally just down the road from it.
Yeah, we weren't even a mile from it.
And this thing was flying over that area. And if any of you are aware of powerhouse rules, I'm sure quite a few aren't.
No fly zones.
Powerhouses are no fly zones. We're even told if you see a plane flying over, you better head for the hills because it's not legal. Signal simulator. I'm going to write that down. I'm always in for playing some kind of game. So...
Oh no, this animal, this wasn't during the nighttime. This was about
7 o'clock in the morning.
7 o'clock in the morning. It was
during the summertime,
broad daylight out, and I got to see everything clearly.
Yeah. Yeah, this is during the summertime where it's daylight at 7 around here. Charizard says he fights Bigfoot on a monthly basis. That's impressive. Are you elongated creature? This is for Brock. Elongated creature jumped into the water. I freaking hate Bigfoot. Always do.
So Nigel, you need to start eating cake.
No way. Pies are so much better than cake. Just as long as it doesn't take your. Oh, I'm sure a lot of people. Cause I can tell that there's a few video game players here. What's the thing from Skyrim? The sticky roll or
oh yeah, the sticky bun.
Honey roll. All right. Okay. I do want to say.
Sweet roll. There you go.
Sweet roll. There we go. I knew we'd get it.
Sorry, it was the arrow in the knee.
Atlee or God asked me to play Code Vein. That definitely would be a game Helena wouldn't play. Same people that made Dark Souls and Bloodborne and Demon Souls. I'm just not really into that kind of thing. I'm not a big, and again, our daughters are into it, so it doesn't matter to me, but I'm not a big anime kind of guy, so that doesn't really interest me, even with Dark Souls thing. And she can tell you I play everything Dark Souls there is. Bloodborne. I have Dark Souls on every system we have.
TLC Ferguson's wants to know, have either of you had any experiences as children, and have either of you heard of the Book of Inhumanoids?
I did look up the Book of Inhumanoids because I think she mentioned it in the comment before, and I do need to read it and look into it. But for me as a child, my experience was actually, if we're saying child, because I was 18, 19, 20 years old when I saw the thing in the woods. But as a child, it would probably be my first paranormal encounter with my grandfather, who had passed when my dad was 6 years old. And he started talking to me. But now, as far as you...
I've had instances since I was like 5, with many things.
Well, let me see if... I'm sorry to not be getting some of your questions, but I did want to mention that I thought Code Vein was made by Konami as well, at Lear God. But I keep remembering a story that you told me a while back when we had the whole brownie thing about your grandmother having, or your
Yes.
having a...
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I used to be an adventurer like you, and I took an arrow in the knee.
There's something I've seen with big green glowing eyes. It was in the woods. That's from Miss Blue Moon Cat.
Green eyes. I mean, that could be a lot of things. I'm going to assume that she already ruled out anything that was normal.
Normally, it would be a big cat.
Well, it could be a big cat. Anything that has what they call a tapetum in the eye will actually reflect light and cause green. Well, perfect example. And I'm not saying this is the case. I'm just saying an example. The picture of my thumbnail of Chewy, everyone thinks I edited his eyes, and that's how the picture came out. It glowed.
Have you ever considered doing interviews with others on the crypto field?
Actually, yes, I have. I've done a few collaborations. I did one with Wolves and Sheeple, but that was totally different. It was an interview with me. You all know I did a UFO one with Mad Cat Mysteries. I've done 2 things with Haunted Road Media, and but that's always about the paranormal. As far as cryptids, and I know a few people will be interested, I had reached out to Ben and Paul Eno and they said they'd be interested in doing something with me. Sadly, the last time I contacted them was last Thanksgiving, and as many of you know, I kind of went dark on my YouTube channel for a few months after that due to my work. So I do need to reach out with them, and I'm planning on doing a video with them if they're willing to do it with me again. Where was we at with the eye thing? Because I see a lot of things.
Well, Miss Blue Moon Cat, I was actually wanting to say that if, you know, we're just saying that that's what it could be. The best thing for you to do is, if you've seen it in a certain location constantly or numerous times, get yourself a camera that can be put outside and let it sit there for a week, and then just keep checking it.
You can get a trail camera for $30, but yeah. I understand. There's times when we don't have $30, so you do what you gotta do to try to catch this stuff. But if what I'm assuming was said, I'm assuming that it was assumed that I was basically saying it can't be anything other than a normal animal. And no, I'm not putting down your siding of this thing at all. Like I said, you all know me. I'm not that kind of person. I was just giving it that's why I said I'm assuming you already eliminated anything normal, like a deer or what have you. I'm not saying you didn't see something that was that tall, you know, in there. And you didn't mention it was that tall. But there's all kinds of cryptids and creatures that have glowing green eyes. I started a video a while back because of I apologize if I don't remember it, but I believe Atlee or God actually was the one who was talking to me about a yellow-eyed cryptid. Maybe. I'm sorry if that slipped my mind. But then I come to find out that, like Bigfoot, their eye colors can come in all different kind of colors. It can come red, yellow, white, obviously, green. I think there's even a blue one. So what do you think of my other channel thumbnail? I really can't tell from here, because on my page the chat's very small, just so you know. I'll look it up later. Yeah, I couldn't remember if it was you or not. I'm trying to remember who it was.
Dan Kushnick says you should try to go on or get in touch with Expanded Perspectives.
Okay. James, I'm going to write that down. I'm just going to tell you right now. James gives me so many ideas for things. The problem is, let me get this right down. The problem that I come to find out is that not a lot of people have the same mentality I do. And it's not saying, oh, look at me, I'm so great. But there's a lot of people that, when they have their YouTube channels, like we just hit 30,000. I think we're at 30,000, almost 31 now. And there's channels that once they hit the 100,000 mark, if you don't have numbers that are going to help them out, they normally don't do it. Like I said, without looking at them again, I don't know if they have what their numbers are. But there are quite a few that will be helpful, but you always run into that problem. Where we go? It was darkness around. I don't think it had a body. Ooh. I'm responding to Miss Blue Moon Cat. She said the creature with the green eyes was just darkness around it. I don't think it had a body. It creeped me out a lot. But we're going into spirit being. That could be anything. I mean, there's all kinds of. I seem to have been on a gen kick as of late.
Yeah,
I'm not laughing at what you saw, because if it is a gen, that's not good. But yeah, if you're in a spirit being realm, which I consider shadow people and all that stuff, that could take any route.
Okay, this question has been asked a couple times, so.
Okay.
You two lander.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
I have to say it. Charizard can do things. I love the reference. That's a Red Dead Redemption reference. because Uncle constantly said he had lumbago. I had to mention that because I saw it and I loved it.
Have you ever heard of stairways in the woods?
No, I haven't. Unless we're talking about those rocks that have look like they're like a spaceship kind of thing. I think they're in China or Asia or some sort. That they have like looks like there's steps going into them. But no, I'm not familiar with that. Again, I'm writing it down. My pad's getting pretty full as we speak. So, stairways in woods. See, that's what I really love about my channel is that even though I do have quite a bit of information in my head about a lot of these things, they're always bringing me new information that I never would have even thought of.
James Kushnick.
Okay.
That's understandable about expanded perspective, but what are your thoughts on yellow-eyed children / beings like black-eyed children, but with different colored eyes?
Okay.
I think it could possibly be the same thing with them just wanting to change their eye color.
Okay, I'm going to say something that's I'm going to say something controversial. I did a video on black-eyed children. I don't believe they exist. In a way, I say that they exist, but they don't exist. Because when I went into the history of it, I really found strong ties to the original stories of vampires, where everything that they say about the black-eyed children, that everyone forgets about what vampires are, the black-eyed children now are. Where they can't be invited into your house unless you invite them, that they show up and they have, everything that's about them was all vampire lore to begin with. So, yes, I say I don't believe they exist, but they could be theoretical vampires, so...
Okay, Victor Volkov has a question. What do you think of the Foo Fighters in World War II?
Again, that's the video that I plan on doing about UFO sightings and stuff in wartime, because those were quite fantastic situations. It's much like the one like I was mentioning in, I forget what video I did. Oh, the airplanes one. The ghost airplanes. Where I had mentioned I wanted to do a video about the UFO chasing down the gunner boat in Vietnam. And so yeah, I'll be talking about the Foo Fighters, because that's definitely going to be a part of it. I see a lot of video game references now. There's Fallout for getting a mini nuke. Theoretical vampire. They feel theories. No, that's me. I'm a theoretical vampire, I guess. What I'm meaning is that the original stories, if you go real back far in history about vampires, a lot of things have been, dare I say, romanticized and edited out as of late. Where, like most of us know, a lot of people say vampires were originally started as like a ghost. It actually wasn't a human being that was bitten. It was a spirit being. It wasn't a, dare I say, flesh and blood creature. Well, from that history, a lot of the lore has been cut off, and you find that lore now picking up with the black-eyed children. So they could be the same, but I don't know. And I know you were joking, but I did want to clarify that I wasn't just saying, no, it's a me mozzarella. That's one I don't get. I know that it's a me, it's a Mario from, not Mario, but from Assassin's Creed, but...
we already have Dawn Guard DLC on every console we own.
I didn't know there was a movie, Black Eyed Children.
Neither did I.
Here's the thing, and this is what, again, I really like about my channel, is that everything I make a video about, I might not necessarily believe in personally, but that doesn't mean that I'm right. And that's for you to make your decisions. I don't want it to be to where I say vampires don't exist, so you say, oh, they must not exist. Or not vampires, black-eyed children. Make the difference there. That I say black-eyed children don't exist, so that means they must not exist. No. That's just my personal belief on what I found out, but that doesn't mean I'm right. Because Helena can tell you I'm wrong a lot. The Black Eyed Peas?
Yeah, Blackfire 3. If you have a story, we would love to hear it.
What was that one? Yeah, I'm all for it. Oh, have a good night, Restion. Thank you for showing up to the stream. I see it is lasting a little longer than I had planned.
I told you it would.
What did you... Goops, psychic vampire. You know, and this is going to show a reference to the thing, something that I had...
Good night, TLC Ferguson.
Good night, TLC. Ideas for drawings. I would love to see... This is something I wanted to mention. I saw that comment. I saw Restion's comment. She's giving you a big thumbs up. That's something that I think is my next step for this channel that I really would like to have. And I hate to get to this point where I'm actually asking for it, but I would love to see fan art of this stuff. And Formiga says does drawings, and that would be cool to see. But the question I was originally answering was, this shows I do watch channels that aren't related to that kind of stuff, was that James Kasusnik wanted to know my opinion on Goop, the psychic, it scrolled up on me, the psychic paranormal cryptid or vampire thing, repellent. I actually watched a channel called JonTron, and I saw him covering Goop, which is Gwyneth Paltrow's fake products where she claims it's all crystal energy and all this other stuff. I think that pretty much summed it up, that they're all fake.
Good night, Victor.
Good night, Victor. You made a Dodge Viper a while ago. I love those vehicles. Congratulations on being married 16 years. We're on what?
Huh?
Restion Serpentine's been married for 16 years, so...
That's, well, we've been together for about 16 years.
Yeah.
We've been married for 10.
Okay, Animal saw JonTron's Goop. Yeah. Well, there goes the show that I do watch channels that aren't about paranormal all the time.
Okay, what is your profile picture?
What is my profile picture?
Yeah. Evidently we have a new one.
Who wanted to know that?
Formaja Vermella?
Oh. My profile picture is right there. It's a picture of Chewie with half a hockey mask on him.
And Chewie is our Shih Tzu.
Yes. Even like, here, I'll pop it back in here, just in case. I think you were here to begin with, but I'll pop it back up here.
Okay.
There. I popped my original image in. It should be coming in here. There's a little bit of delay with YouTube and live streaming, but it's the thumbnail I made for this video. And right there, the picture that's on top of the suit, that's the image. And I've been looking for someone that was able to do some art on that, and no one has to take me up on it. Our daughters tried, but yeah.
Okay. Back to Blackfire 3, they wanted to tell you what had happened.
Okay.
Way back when I was about 5-ish, I was awake late at night reading Sesame Street books.
Oh,
when
man.
I looked up, my door was open and I saw something like a mound leaving my door and go through the kitchen. Was that like it was on the ground?
Yeah, that's my first question. Was it like it was crawling on the floor or not? Country by Fire can
Country by Fire, you are right there with me, yeah. And around the corner after it left my sight, I went after looking for it, couldn't find it even after turning the lights on. I don't recall hearing any sounds from it and never seeing it again.
Well, let me ask you this question.
That's a good question, Animal.
My question is this, is that, and this is going to sound really strange, did you recently have a animal pass away? Because we have seen some of our animals that have passed away come back. Charizard, is it about fighting Bigfoot? Sorry to joke. But while you're answering that, Chris Griffin wants to know my thoughts on the succubus. I actually really wanted to do a video about succubuses. Or succubi. But
cryptozoologist vlogger, yes, most definitely.
I don't even know that one. About succubuses. Okay. I wanted to do a video about succubi, if you want to call them that. The problem that comes into is, and I'm sure all of you are familiar with it, is that if you look up images of a succubus, how many of them are proper or allowed to be seen on YouTube? They're normally someone that's very scantily dressed, or female normally scantily dressed, so it made it very tough, and the topics all dealt with a sexual nature, which most of us are adults here, but I do have a lot of viewers that are children, so I couldn't really make that video like that. And outside of that, I do think that they do exist to a degree, but it also was sleep paralysis, and it also was at one point given as an excuse for people that have had affairs. But I do think that they could exist.
Okay, Blackfire 3. Yeah, sorry. Blackfire 3 answered us. It could have looked like someone with a blanket, and I didn't have any pets at the time besides some fish.
You know, I really haven't studied into... Well, are we still talking? That's the problem. I'm sorry, rest of the chat. But if it's... If it's someone in a blanket, are we still talking about someone standing up or someone on the ground? I'm trying to figure out size here for what the creature was, or the being was. I saw a question that I wanted to...
Good night, BB7738.
Good night, BB7738. Later. I would love a sweater from Alaska.
Oh, I want one too.
See, you know, I don't know if there have been actual animals. That's where BU2 Lander. That's what I'm trying to figure out. And just so we've got this clear, I'm waiting for you to finish your story, Charizard. I'm not ignoring your story. But back to the stray cat thing, I was trying to figure out if there are any stories of people seeing animals outside of ones that they personally own. You know, you never really hear about someone having a ghost dog that lives there that has nothing to do with them. Mm-mm. Unless, per se, it is a hellhound.
Yeah. And
that's a totally different animal altogether. But, I mean, we personally, when me and Helena first got together, I had a cat, and I loved him dearly, and he died at 20 years age. So she got to see him for a long time, and after he passed, we both saw him for a long time after that fact. So I know if you have the pet, you frequently can see them. Not always. But I don't know about seeing someone else's or just a random one. Okay. I'm reading that. About Charizard's story? Yeah, that's strange. Were you able to see what the being was, Charizard? Yes, James. The succubi do... you'll find the historical facts about it was normally given as the reason for someone to have an extramarital affair. So, but I do think that they could exist. I do want to jump back there because Blackfire mentioned us. He said it was 2 to 3 feet from the ground. I don't know what that would be. Although,
it wasn't floating.
I will say this, and this is kind of a free plug for them, but Haunted Road Media, Mike Ricksecker, he has a story about what he calls the shadow person that is called a crawler, which I have never heard of before. It sounds as creepy as it is, where it's just this being, but he sees it he saw it crawling on like the ceilings. So, but I would assume it could possibly do the same thing. Okay, Charizard, you said it was practically invisible, but what was there something that you could actually see? Well, see, BU2 Lander, we saw my cat's name was Sammy, and he passed away, and we saw him for many years after that, and it would just be random. And oddly enough, I mean, Helena actually got the better view of him. She woke up one morning and saw him sitting on the floor, and she said just like that, like a bright light. What was it?
He was gone.
It was a bright light, and he was gone. But what we'd frequently see was we'd see his tail going up and down the stairs, and you would literally see it. It wasn't just out of the corner of your eye. So just because they're gone for a while doesn't mean they couldn't come back.
Charizard answered you.
Okay, you didn't see it. Invisible spirit beings are tough.
It could be caused by anything. It could be caused by somebody in the house.
Yeah, you could even go into the common thought, like what Helena was touching on there, was like a poltergeist activity where a lot of people believe, and I've been told by Haunted Road Media that there is a split, but again, it's hard to make that distinction. There's a split between poltergeist beings and poltergeist activity that's brought on by someone in the house unknowing that they're doing it.
Blackfire 3, like Ben said, I would honestly, if I were you, he has dealt with
Who? Haunted Road Media?
Haunted Road Media for quite a while now, and they're really good people. If you could, earlier in the chat, Ben left our email.
Mm-hmm.
If you would like to send us your stuff, and we can send it to them, or we can give you their information if you contact his email, and we can get you in touch with them to find out what exactly this is.
Yeah, I dare say I'm fairly good friends with Mike Ricksecker, and that's what they do. They do a lot of ghost hunting, and they have a lot more stories about that kind of events. We have ghost activity ourselves. We've dabbled in ghost hunting, but if I normally have a question and I don't know, I normally reach out to them. So normally when it comes down to anything in the spiritual realm or a spirit being, I normally divert the questions to them, or even just work as the middleman, where I ask them and I tell you what I found out. Oh, can you unblock that, or is it me? Okay. The first video you saw was the dinosaur cryptids, which that was a great one, and you also introduced me to the Manus Man. That's fantastic. You know, that's the whole point of my channel, is to bring these cryptids and stuff back from, by theory, the dead, where people forget about them, and I'm happy to hear that. So yeah, that actually makes me feel really good that people are learning about this stuff. Just don't watch my Out of Place Artifacts version 1, because that was terrible. And Charizard, I actually I haven't seen Bob Gimlin, but I did look at his channel, and I talked about this earlier in the stream. I would like to work with him. I haven't reached out to him, and I'm not even sure he'd even work with me, being that I've run into this problem before, and I'm not saying that he's this way, but he has a PhD in primatology, and he tries to look for the answers to it like I do. But I've reached out to other channels that are similar to that, and due to the fact that they want to go from a scientific standpoint only, the moment they see I involve myself with cryptids or paranormal or something like that, or UFOs, they right away say I'm not into that content. So there's Cryptid 559. I don't know that one. Happy Halloween. Do you do any gaming? Yes, I do quite a bit of gaming, actually. Bucky Chambers. I do. I have an Xbox. We have a PS4, but I do most of my gaming on PC. I wouldn't say that they're nerds, but I reached out to one channel once that was doing all kinds of strange videos that were topics I normally didn't talk about, but I did get a response back, not from Bob Gimlin. I'm not putting him down. I don't know him personally. I haven't reached out to him, but I will. But the one I did reach out to, he was like, "Oh, I'm trying to move myself away from that and go with a scientific route," which actually was false.
Well, a lot of people that even try to start this stuff, they shun you in a way because you're not science, it seems.
But science is wrong.
And some things yes, and some things no, but there's always room for improvement.
I stand by that statement. I get a lot of people that on one of my videos, I'm sorry to hear about that, Julie. The moment I see someone saying about their something happened to someone's dog, I'll stop. But I'll stick with my statement that science is wrong too, because a lot of times, and this is why I say this, because science is for the most part built on theories, and the same things we're built on for the cryptids, where we're built on ideas and theories, and those change. And when they're proven different, it's still considered science, but now it's just a different theory. I mean, how long did it take for people to realize about evolution or the Big Bang? Before that, it didn't exist, but science was right, So I did want to mention James Kasusnik. If you look up my video, The History of Halloween, The Story You Never Knew, I did talk about Samhain in great detail. And have a good night, Ray. So yes, I have talked about Samhain, and that's what made it tough for having a Halloween special where I sat down with Helena and was like, what are we going to do that I haven't done before? And I've already done that video on Halloween. I've already done the story of jack-o'-lanterns. I did a story of the Headless Horseman. So it just evolved into the normal Q&A, which I'm fine with. Donkey Minotaurs. Will Smith versus a Bigfoot.
I gotta go with Big Willie.
Yeah, I'll stick with Will Smith, especially if he's still with Men in Black. Mr. X versus Bigfoot. Oh, that's the Resident Evil character. I go with Mr. X. If someone already called me Forrest Gump. Now we have a whole big battle of the cryptids. I did want to mention that at one point, and I'm not saying I'm not doing it, but at one time I wanted to do a video series on cryptid battles, but as I said, I'm not sure how to get it set up correctly. So maybe at one point. And I got the Genie Will Smith. Well, the Genie Will Smith or the Men in Black Will Smith, it doesn't seem to work out too well with a flesh and blood creature. I am perfectly fine, Robbie. Oh, Charizard's going as Mr. X. Because this is how I talk, but try to keep it polite. I don't know how you can highlight a name to the chat. The Goatman Bridge or the Beast Boy Road. That's perfectly fine, Country by Fire. I have all kinds of topics of videos, and however you find me, it is what it is, and I don't expect everyone to comment all the time. I do try to respond to everyone, but it's perfectly fine. But I did want to do the video on the Ghost Man, not the Ghost Man, the Goatman Bridge, and I may have done something on that. I don't recall. Oh, okay. That's how you do it. I have someone offering to help me out if I do the cryptid battles. Okay, did I miss something with Regina?
If you did, I did too.
Oh. As far as James Kasusnik, I don't know if you're replying to someone else, but the woman in white that I've seen here in the house, she didn't scream. It was the other one that we had in a previous house that did, and I don't think the two are the same. And Charizard, that's a really tough question because I like both of them, but I have to say I go with Mothman.
Okay, she says that is what I was talking about because the cats I have been seeing don't feel like the cats I used to have.
Well, a lot of things change within how bodies change, but within the spirit world. I don't know. Thank you, Victor. If you fall off, it's fine. And Ben Miller versus Chat. I don't think I'll even do that battle. Animal thinks that the Mothman and Jersey Devil are the same creature. I absolutely do not.
I do not. They're described completely different. And with the Jersey Devil, it seems to stay in one spot where the Mothman has been seen in several locations, if around the U.S., if not around the world.
Well, within the Jersey Devil situation, too, it has been seen in different locations.
I've never heard it being seen somewhere else.
But it goes in a way of like a normal animal would, where it starts in New Jersey and people saw it in Pennsylvania, and they saw it in New York, where it's flying. So it's staying within that just the coast areas. So...
Have you heard of the Dover Demon?
Yes, I've heard of the Dover Demon, and I will be doing a video on it in when I do my state-by-state cryptids. And I actually think I did a video about the Dover Demon once, so I did do a video about it. Yes, the Mothman has an Owlman. There's actually an Owlman in I believe Michigan too. That's a very good point, Robbie. Okay. Okay, Blackfire 3. I don't remember if I have your name down on my list, but yes, I have it written down about looking into the Wendigo sightings in Kenora, Ontario. And from what I understand, it's because of the cave that's there. I might be wrong. So, Robbie, you're saying that the Owlman lives in your area. Are you from Russia? Or are you from Michigan? Mothman, take me home. Well, see, Animal, the thing is that with, like Helena was saying, the Mothman and the Jersey Devil are always described as two different looking creatures. I mean, by theory, they could be like a same creature but different. You know, like a different species where different dogs look different, but they're still a dog. So maybe, but I don't know. Oh, okay. The Owlman in Virginia. I'm trying to remember if I know that one.
I don't.
When I get to Virginia, I'll look that one up. I don't want to know your location. I just want to know state. Being you said it lived in your state or where you live. But we are soon approaching the 2-hour mark. So I think we will be ending this stream here. I appreciate everyone's comments. And it's been a great stream so far. And Cryptid wants to know anything on reptilians. Yes, I will be doing a video on reptilians eventually. And So, I guess with that, be safe, and I'll see you in the next one. Later.